All right. So we're going to talk about this first episode. Just a little
intro
to ourselves.
to the show.
Intro to games.
Okay.
It's like a 2 plus 2 is 4 type of
Just
deal.
let me know when we're starting the show. Well, everyone, my name is Caleb. This is my friend,
Omari here.
Omari here.
Yeah, that's my last name is here.
It's a very
H-E-E-R.
common last name.
Very common name in my community.
Yeah, so we're just starting up this little series of ours to go over certain topics such as anything nerdy.
Pretty much anything nerdy. Games,
Yep.
comic books, comic book movies,
Comic
a lot
book
of
games,
those, comic
game
book
comics.
Game movies.
Just
movie
comics.
games.
No, we're gonna cover everything from games to anime to anything going on that's nerdy in pop culture.
Yeah,
we're not gonna really touch
sure.
anything that's too mainstream because that's not really what
Yeah,
we're about.
we're not mainstream. We're underground.
If you hear one of us talk about Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump,
PewDiePie.
just turn it off.
We need help, and we're being held against our will.
Yes, send help. To give a brief overview of me and Omar's background, we both studied theater performance, so we're a little bit more artsy-fartsy.
A little artsy-fartsy. So we'll be kind of getting into the artistry
Yes.
of like the different topics we'll choose.
Very much
whether
so.
it be games or movies or comic books or anime or whatever. We'll get a little artsy-fartsy on you guys.
I think it would be a good idea for the beginning episode, the first episode, to go over what games mean to you.
Oh,
and
yeah,
we can
sure.
take turns. You go, you say what games mean to you.
Yeah.
And I'll say how that's stupid.
Very true. I will rage and say that my answer is right and yours is wrong.
Exactly.
Games for me used to be like, I mean, it kind of still is, but it used to be like an escape from the real world. I think that's what most people who are gamers got into gaming, was for it to be an escape from the real world. But like as you play more and more games, it starts to change a little, and it starts to get more realistic. And it's like I kind of have problems that are. I mean, obviously in the game it's kind of fleshed out a little bit more or over exaggerated, but it's like there are points where you relate to some of the characters, and there's a reason why people like finish a game and they're like, oh my god, my mind is blown.
Because they really are Zelda.
Because they really are Ganondorf. Games are more than an escape to me now. It's just like a way to be so in a story because you're a part of the story. And it's a great way to look at yourself, because like if you're watching a movie of some sort, you could kind of distance yourself from the character because you're watching
games
them.
Are more immersive.
Yeah, and you're like, that guy, I can't believe that guy did this, or I can't believe she did this. But when in a game, it's like, I did this, I made this decision. Games mean a lot to me because of that fact, because it's so immersive. In games nowadays, you could, these characters are so realistic or so over exaggerated that these, little characteristics of realism kind of strike a chord, and you kind of get invested.
Yeah, no, I completely disagree. I told you I was going to disagree.
Completely.
I think games for me are more just communicating with just random people. Like, for example, Pokemon Go, why I was so high on it when it first came out was because everyone was playing.
Literally everyone.
It feels like you were. Yeah. Honestly, it sounds stupid, but that was a kind of a world-changing moment for me.
Nothing like that has ever been
ever happened. Like, even the most popular games like Halo, Call of Duty, they're really popular. Yeah, WoW even. Yeah, they're really popular, but they're generally the demographic is what you're gonna be like 10 to 30-year-olds generally, and they're predominantly males.
Yeah.
When we went to Santa Monica Beach when we were playing Pokemon Go,
Santa Monica was crazy.
Yes, so many people just on their just looking down on their phones and then talking to people like, "Hey, you play Pokemon Go? Hey, I play Pokemon Go. Did you catch that Pokemon over there?"
It's like, "Yeah, man, there's a Charmeleon, or not a Charmeleon, obviously, because
that'd be crazy."
But it's like, "Oh yeah, man, I found a Poliwag over there." And
yeah.
Like, oh, dope.
And then people are just like, "Oh yeah, Poliwags."
Yeah, it was so crazy, and it was like people of all ages. There were like people there. It was like a kid and his mom were there just like walking around the Santa Monica Pier.
I think that touched on the baseline of what I think could become world-changing about games. Yeah. Because when this is during the time of, it's still during the time, but through a lot of racial tension and a lot of crazy crap, basically, going on in the country, like where there's a lot of divisiveness.
Yeah.
And then you read about these things on like Reddit or something where random guys are walking out a street late at night and they think like they see a group of people coming towards them and they're like, "Oh dang, I'm about to get mugged or something."
Right.
And then they're like, "Hey, you on red team? Or you on team Valor? We about to go stomp this gym." And you're just like,
it's so different. That's never happened before.
Because people actually have something in common.
Yeah.
Like, instead of just being like, "You're different, I don't understand you, I'm scared."
Oh, you play that kind of game.
Yeah.
That's not my kind of thing.
Yeah, it brings people together.
Yeah.
From a global perspective, I've never seen something more potent than that. Yeah. And I think that, honestly, that really touched me on a really deep level. I don't play the game anymore, but...
He's a quitter.
No, because I didn't honestly like the gameplay of it. But that's a kind of important part. But while I was playing it, it was amazingly cool, and I could understand why everyone was so hype and so Cloud 9 on it. That sounds so hypocritical, where I'm like, yeah, this is why I like it, but I hate the game.
Freaking hate the game. Kind of to touch on that, like...
Touch on it.
Just so sweet. But to touch on that, there was... On one side, there were people that were so hype about the game, and then on the other side, there was just so much hate for it.
Oh my god,
I just didn't understand.
There's just like,
so
what
much
are you doing in my lawn? Like,
our countries are burning to the ground, and people are outside playing Pokemon Go, and it's like,
it's always from the people who don't understand.
And that's the thing. That's what we're here for. We're here to hopefully help other people understand why there's so much pull behind games.
It's
in
not
general.
It's not just
or
a
really
way
just
to
like
waste
comics,
your life, you know?
It's not just for children.
These are all hobbies that kids can like them, adults can like them.
Anybody can like them.
And that's not because they cater to those audiences.
Yeah.
It's because those audiences have more creative freedom to go after what they want and not be judged
and
for,
also are like, a little open.
Yeah, more open to these things.
Because there's so many people who... I was talking to Caleb about this earlier, but there's so
my
many
name's Caleb, by the way. Nice to meet you all.
Somebody. Anyway, I was talking to somebody, like one of my close friends, who just despises video games because she thought that... there are people out there who think that there's only like the Super Mario Brothers or the Halo type games, those kind of games.
More?
The Halo type games where it's like most of the time it's very one dimensional, or it's just for fun. I had to like explain to her that there's so many more types of games, types of genres, types of characters you could find, and you could like it's not uncommon to get invested in a character or a storyline. And it's just like, there's, going back to the hate thing, there's just so many people who don't know that it exists, so they think that when people are invested in the game, they think it's the Super Mario Brothers, or they think it's the,
and there's this just there's the negative connotation. We're still dealing with the residual effects of the arcade years of the 80s and 90s of people with like just who look like people that get made fun of, basically,
pretty much,
and just for how they look and what they play, and it's really stupid and unfair.
It's just like, it becomes dismissive.
Yes.
Like, just
you cannot have a deep conversation
right.
with 90% of the populace about video games or comic books or manga. I'm going to say manga just because I butcher the Japanese. I even took Japanese too, but I'm going to say manga just because you can't stop me, internet. You can't stop me. But yeah, anime and the like, where those things are immediately like, oh no. Like when for example, for anime, when people bring that up, they're like, oh, you watch anime?
Right, they're like, oh, you're one of those types of people.
With the tentacles and the boobs and the
underage
shots,
girls.
The underage girls.
The upskirts.
And all the girls that sound like, oh, no! Sasuke. Honestly, when I was in high school, I didn't tell a single person that I like these things because there's a negative stigma around it.
There's so much of a negative stereotype.
I was so much more of a nerd than everyone else in high school, and they had no idea.
We were the cool kids, obviously, in high school.
I was just banging all the dudes.
Welcome back to our show, Double Penetration.
That's what constitutes as cool in high school.
Banging other dudes. Yeah, man,
I was a hot item in the locker room.
There's so much of a negative connotation to those who do these things, and it's like, it's not as bad as other people think it is, you know?
Right.
It's not as gross, or it's not as childish as other people think it is. And again, that's kind of why we're making this.
Yeah, I was about to say,
show,
that is the main point of our show.
To educate people, to let them know that it's not just one thing or another. That, you know, there are good animes, there are bad animes.
And there are bad games. There is a way to have intellectual discussions about things that seem on the outset that there is no content to it. Yeah. This is just an outlet for everyone to come to and get to. I know you guys don't get to talk to us, but hopefully we get to voice some of your ideas for some of these titles that you really feel passionate about and you've always wanted to discuss, but there's no one around you.
No one
who understands.
Right. Who can't, like, who knows just as much about the thing that you're talking about, or is just as invested, and so you have to, like, almost convince them to like it before you talk about it.
Yes.
So this is for those
people.
Feel free if we miss anything, and we will trust us. We will, because we're surprisingly not perfect. But yeah, he's perfect. He's word perfect. He created the Microsoft Word
and Perfect Dark Zero. I created both of those.
He did both of those. So look him up at I don't know what that means. I guess that's it for now.